I've written this short story for you to listen and then practice your RP accent. Read and listen and notice my stress linking and intonation, which is so important for a good RP accent. Then go back and try to copy saying it exactly the same as me. I've also highlighted the phrases and some hair idioms from my previous video here. So if you've already watched it, you can see and understand them in context. A few years ago, my hubby and I went on a last-minute holiday to a Greek island to relax, but unfortunately, it didn't quite go to plan. We took off from Heathrow, not really knowing what to expect, since we'd booked the holiday at the last minute. We just wanted to go somewhere warm and sunny to relax and let our hair down. We settled down on the plane and were very happy. We hadn't had a holiday for ages and so decided to have a couple of gin and tonics to celebrate. So when we landed at Rhodes Airport, we were definitely in the holiday mood. We got off the plane and went to the baggage claim area. While we were waiting for our luggage, a woman approached us. "I'm very sorry, but your luggage has been delayed in transit," she said. "Oh no," I said. "How long will it be delayed for?" "Don't worry, we'll send it on to your hotel as soon as we can." My heart sank. All I'd been thinking about was changing into my bikini as soon as I got to the hotel and swimming in the sea. "Don't pull your hair out over it, Liz. I'm sure the luggage will turn up at the hotel soon," said Robert. We queued up for the ferry to the Greek island of Symi. The sea looked very rough. We boarded and managed to find a couple of seats and sat down. After 20 minutes, I was beginning to feel rather seasick. "You shouldn't have drunk so much," said Robert, smugly. "I only had 2, I said. "We are supposed to be on holiday." Okay, keep your hair on," he replied. By the time we reached the port, I was feeling very ill. We waited and waited in the hot, blistering sun for our transport to the hotel. And after 2 hours, I was beginning to think we'd made a terrible mistake. Eventually, a small, shabby white van turned up, and we were bundled into the back with the luxury of milk crates to sit on. There was nothing we could do about it. So I turned to Robert, who looked a bit worried, and said, "Don't pull your hair out over it." "There's nothing you can do about it," I smiled. He frowned at me, knowing I was getting him back for when he'd said the same thing to me earlier in the day. Hunched over and very uncomfortable, the van raced through the town at such a frightening speed it made my hair stand on end. And then I began to feel sick again. I called out to the driver to slow down a bit, but he wasn't at all bothered. He was obviously used to complaints about his driving because he didn't turn a hair and just carried on speeding. We arrived at the hotel at about 10 o'clock at night, completely exhausted. Thankfully, the hotel looked beautiful, and I began to forget about our journey and relax. I sat down in reception on a soft, comfortable chair while Robert checked in. "Hello, sir. Welcome to our beautiful hotel in Symi. You are in our best room. Number 13. It has a new air conditioning system for your comfort, sir. Our porter will take up your cases for you." "Well, that would be nice," said Robert. "But our luggage has been delayed. Hopefully it will arrive later." "Okay, sir. Here's your key. Enjoy your stay." We got to the room and we were both hit by a blast of cool air. We slumped down onto the bed, feeling grateful for the air conditioning. Suddenly, there was a loud noise. It was a clap of thunder outside. It was so loud it made me jump out of my skin. Then suddenly all the electrics shut down completely. The room went pitch black dark, and of course the air conditioning stopped. "Oh no, I don't believe it," I said. "Don't worry," said Robert. "They're bound to sort it out soon. It won't be long." How wrong he was. We spent the rest of the night tossing and turning in bed, unable to sleep because of the intense heat in the room. By the morning, our cases still hadn't arrived, and I had a terrible hangover. "You need the hair of the dog," said Robert jokingly. I agreed. So we headed to the bar for this so-called hangover cure. Then we decided to buy ourselves some swimwear from the hotel so we could go for a swim. The sea was a beautiful blue colour and very still after the storm. There were straw umbrellas everywhere, and the long stretch of sand was almost white. Feeling better, we strolled along the beach, hand in hand, paddling in the sea water. The water gently lapped over our feet as we walked in the soft, wet sand. "This is the life," I said to Robert. "Yes," he said. "It can't get much better than this, can it?" We smiled at each other, and then, "Ugh! What's that?" I felt something soft and squishy under my foot. I looked down, and there, to my horror, I was standing in what looked like poo. I'd trodden in poo with my bare foot. I screamed and ran into the sea to quickly wash it off. I felt so upset and disgusted. We both went back to the hotel room to have a shower. It was soon time to go out for dinner, and we decided to walk along the harbour and choose a restaurant there. Luckily, our cases had turned up, so I was able to change out of my bikini. I got ready and began to put on some makeup. The balcony doors were open, and there was a beautiful view out to sea. Everything was lovely again, despite the lack of air conditioning. We walked along the harbour, taking our time to look at all the market stalls, and bought one of the natural sponges that everyone seemed to be selling. It was still incredibly hot, and the atmosphere in the harbour was stifling. We decided to have dinner at a local fish restaurant and sat down outside to eat. As we were waiting for our meal, I felt a little bit sick again. "I think I'll go for a little walk, Rob. See if I can cool down." "Okay," he said, "but don't be long. Your dinner will be served soon." I walked for about 5 minutes trying to get some fresh air, but it seemed impossible. Then suddenly I saw stars and everything went black. The next thing I knew was when I opened my eyes. All I could see was lots of people looking down at me and shouting to call an ambulance. Then I heard someone say, "She will need stitches in that." Apparently I'd fainted and hit my head on the harbour wall. I panicked and tried to get up, but I couldn't. Suddenly I found myself being picked up and carried. I was taken to a local bar where they lay me down on a bench to recover. By this time, Robert had arrived and stayed with me, waiting for an ambulance. 2 hours later and still no sign of an ambulance. Then a truck pulled up outside and a man got out. "I'm a doctor," he said. "Sorry for the wait, but I was at a party on the other side of the island." He looked very smart, not a hair out of place. He examined my head where I'd hit it. There was a deep wound. "Did you have too much to drink?" said the doctor. "No, I did not. I fainted with the heat." The doctor laughed and said, "That's what they all say." He'd obviously been drinking himself. "You should take more water with it," he joked. Then, to my surprise, he helped me into his truck. "Where am I going?" I said. "My pharmacy. You need tetanus and stitches." Robert and I got in the back of the truck, feeling very apprehensive. Where were we going? Was this man safe to drive? He had definitely been drinking. The doctor turned on the ignition, but the engine just stuttered. It wouldn't start. He tried again, and then again, and then again, but no luck. The truck just refused to start. It had obviously seen better days. "Okay, we push," he muttered in pidgin English. Robert got out of the truck and with the help of some locals managed to push the truck down the hill until the engine decided to start again. We were off. Where we were going was a complete mystery to both of us. It was very dark and mountainous, and the truck seemed to be getting very close to the edge of the cliffside. I was sure we were going to career off the side to our deaths, never to be found again. "I hope we don't meet another car coming the other way," I said to Robert, nervously. He half smiled at me, trying to put on a brave face. When we finally arrived an hour later, we saw a little pharmacy. We went in, and the doctor switched on the lights and proceeded to prepare a tetanus injection. "Okay, lift up skirt," he said. "What?" I said. "Tetanus goes in bottom." Unable to argue with that, I did as I was told and lifted up my skirt in full view of whoever might have been peering into the shop at the time. "This might hurt little bit," he said. And it did. "Now we stitch you up," he said, jubilantly. Oh no, I thought, wake me up. Surely this must be some kind of nightmare. I sat down in a small chair and the doctor began sewing up the wound on my eyebrow. "Don't worry," he said, "I will do a beautiful job." 10 minutes later, the job was done and I had a lovely big patch over my eye and a nasty red graze all down the side of my face. I spent the rest of that holiday in the shade, just grateful to be alive and frightened to move in case anything else happened to me. Then, finally, on the last day of our holiday, sitting outside a bar, feeling very conspicuous with a large white eye patch, I looked up and saw a tall, dark, handsome Greek man smiling down at me. He must have thought I was alone, as Robert was inside ordering some drinks. "Hello," he said. "You English?" Yes," I said hesitantly. "You like drink?" I couldn't believe it. There I was with an ugly patch over one eye, a big red graze down the side of my face, and I was actually being chatted up. He must feel sorry for me, I thought. I smiled up at him, and before I could answer, Robert returned with the drinks. I turned round to see my tall, dark, handsome stranger making a hasty retreat. Well, what a holiday that turned out to be. And until this very day, I still have a scar over my left eyebrow. Look. It actually won't move. It's stuck to my brow bone. So let that be a lesson to you. Beware of booking a holiday in a hurry. Until next time, love and peace.